Hi everybody, today we're in Caldwell County. We're about a mile northwest of Far West, and I wanted to come and find what's supposed to be the place where President Joseph F. Smith, the 6th president of the church, was born. His family, which consisted of his father, Hyrum Smith, and then his mother, Mary Fielding, they moved to Far West in spring of 1838, and after Joe Smith and Hyrum Smith and others were arrested and were in Liberty Jail, that's when Joseph F. Smith was born, and it was approximately in this location. I got this information from Sacred Places, Missouri by Lamar C. Barrett, and so I just used his directions. He said, come to this road that we're on right here. And then I'm not sure exactly if it's this power pole or the one over there, but he has a picture of a power pole. And he said that what you had was the cemetery, which was on this side of the street, where now you have this field with bales of hay. So the cemetery was over here, although there aren't any headstones or anything left. And at least when he published that book back in, I think it was 2004, he said that this land was owned by Community of Christ. And I don't know if that's still the case. But right about here, if this is the right power pole, this is where the cemetery was, and then across the street is where Joseph F. Smith was born. So I have a few notes that I took down that I want to share with you. While Hyrum Smith was in Liberty Jail, his wife Mary, after she delivered Joseph F. Smith, they made one visit to Liberty Jail so that he could see his newborn baby. And little did he know that that baby would later become president of the church. There's a story, I don't have all the details, but there's a story that the mob came to their house, and I think this is while Hyrum was in Liberty Jail, and they were going through the house and taking things, and the baby was on the floor. And from what I read, it seemed like they were throwing stuff around, like they flipped over the bed or something like that. And when they did that, I couldn't really make out what the story was saying, but either blankets from the bed or the bed itself like covered the baby so that he wasn't seen by the mob. And Joseph F. Smith credits that with the reason why he wasn't killed by the mob, is that by accident he was concealed from them as they were going through the house. And then at one point his mother, Mary Fielding, she got sick, and so his aunt named Mercy, who had also recently given birth, she was able to nurse Joseph F. Smith. And so that was a tender mercy that there was someone that could take care of him and nurse him. And then after the Nauvoo period, when Joseph F. Smith was 10 years old, him and his mother and family, they crossed the plains, and it was Joseph F. Smith, which just blows my mind, but at 10 years old, he drove the team of oxen that took him to Utah. On the way, one of them got sick, and I feel like I've heard this story before, but now, being here and visiting these places, it's become a little bit more real to me. But there's the story of one of the oxen that got sick, and so they had to stop for a while. But Mary Fielding had a lot of faith, and she had faith to get the ox blessed, and it was healed, and they were able to continue on their way. So, and then after that, obviously, I don't know exactly what year it was, I didn't look this up, but at some point when he was older, Joseph F. Smith became the 6th president of the church, and father of the next president of the church. Well, not the very next, but sorry, he was the 6th, and then he had his son Joseph Fielding Smith, who later became, I'm not sure which number, but I think it was after David O. McKay, I want to say. But it's really incredible to actually be here, and I hope at some point someone puts a historical marker here. I had my hopes up that maybe the Far West Stake would have put a marker in that spot. I don't know if they're done putting up markers or not, but I'm gonna put this on my map, so I have a place marker in case you want to come here and see it. I have the exact coordinates. Again, we're not far from Far West at all. You basically just go up this road right here, and then it turns to the right, and then you head that way, and Far West is on the next road that way, that parallels this road. So that way, the way that we're looking right now is east, and so this would be north. So yeah, you would, from here you would go north and then east and then south, or from Far West you would continue up the road past the Far West Historical Society and Country Store, and it's just the next left that you take. So you would head north and then turn west or turn left, and then head south on this road, and then I guess just look for these power poles. I did the measurements on Google Earth, and I'm confident that it's not any of those power poles right there. Once you get to this property that we were just looking at that has the white picket fence, or well, the white fence, not a picket fence, but once you get to the property that has the white fence, it seems like it's either this power pole or that other one, and I tend to think that it's that other one, just based on my measurements. So in the description box of each video, in case you're new, I have 2 links. One of them is to my map, and you can use that to search for all these sites. Click on the place marks and it'll show you a photo, at least one photo of each site. I'm still working on it, so as of right now not all of them have photos, but once I'm done with this project or further along, they're all going to have pictures. And then I also have a link to my YouTube video that I've made at that place, and I'm going to try and keep it updated. But this is a really nice day. It's beautiful. Today is actually President Nelson's 101st birthday, so I didn't think about that till just now. So we have President Nelson, who was born 101 years ago today, and we're visiting the birth site of Joseph F. Smith. Starting to feel like that was kind of meant to be. I did not have that realization until just now. But yeah, oh, and here's like another thing to help you find it. So again, in my opinion, it's more this location right here where that power pole is, and you have this opening here at the end of the white fence, and there's a hydrant right there, and then over there, that's probably the lagoon for that house. So it seems like it's just right about here. And I didn't take note of this, but the book gave a number of how many saints were buried in this cemetery. Actually, let me just double check my notes. Pretty sure, yeah, I didn't take it down. I should have. But it was at least like 100 or 200. I want to say it was something like 200. So this is a burial site of early members of the church. I would love to see the day that this is developed into a proper cemetery. It'd be great if maybe there was a monument here, kind of like what you see at the Richmond Pioneer Cemetery. I feel like that's pretty realistic. I don't think it's like a top priority for the church to purchase this land. Again, I don't know if Community Christ still owns this property or not, but I don't think it's too unrealistic sometime in the near future. Like, and when I say near, I mean like 10, 20 years, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, this is just it's a really nice day to do this. Temperatures are in the low 70s. It's starting to get cooler. Leaves are starting to change colors. Not so much where we're at right now, but in other places like down in Independence and other places that you see along the highway. The idea for me is to come to some of these places again when you really have all the fall colors, especially Adamonte-Ammon. I ran into one of the senior missionary couples. They were giving somebody else a tour as I was trying to find those missing markers that I don't know where they're at. And he showed me a map, so I have an update on that, but I'm probably going to give you that update next time I go to Adamonte-Ammon. And on top of that, there's a couple more places that I want to take you to that I haven't recorded yet. So yeah, I'm excited about some of these upcoming videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you guys later.